walked away from my OnlyFans career, and it wasn't because of money. Hey guys, it's your girl Vibing with Venus, and I disappeared from YouTube for over 6 months. And the truth is because my life changed. Yes, girl, you heard that right. My life has changed, okay? I walked away from my OnlyFans career, and it wasn't because of money. Truth is, God opened my eyes up to what I was doing, and I just can't stay silent about it anymore. That's just really what it is. Let's dive into it. I did get a lot of questions and DMs from my fan base over the past couple of months regarding, oh, why'd you walk away? What happened? Da 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 da. You know, I made a post on IG mentioning, hey, I was walking away so that I can, you know, pretty much focus on my business full time. But it's a lot more complicated than that, okay? And I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all because you know what? We here, okay? Because we are here, I'm gonna give y'all the inside scoop and let y'all know what's up. This is gonna be a 2-part series. Part 1, where I'm gonna discuss the why of me walking away from OnlyFans. And then the second video is gonna be me discussing the how for those of you who are in similar situations and you are looking for inspiration. And then it'll also be for you nosy people who are just like all in my business and it's like, oh, okay, I just want to know what she up to. You know what I'm saying, girl? I appreciate both of y'all, okay? Everybody is welcome here. Everybody, okay? It gets me paid. Clock that. I'm gonna try my best to touch bases on the most frequent questions that I got. I know a lot of inquiring minds are like, oh, why'd she do it? What is the walk away factor, right? I'm a very private person, believe it or not, okay? Because a lot of y'all feel like y'all know me and you really don't know me. The key is that you guys only know what I want you to know. And this is one of those things that I want you to know. What phase I was in when I began working in the spicy industry, right? Because ultimately that's what it is. We're gonna keep it a buck, okay? I really dislike how a lot of creators try to like create subcategories and make it seem like, oh, one is better than the other and da da da. No girl. At the end of the day, if it's driven by lust, it all falls under the spicy industry, okay? And that's exactly what my career has been in for the past 5 years, maybe a little over 5. If you watch my first get to know me video that I shot 6 months ago, then you kind of get the gist of like just what threw me into the spicy industry. Before I get started about my story, I want y'all to keep that in mind, that this is my story, okay? Nothing that I'm saying is meant to knock anything that anybody else is doing, nor to discredit anything anybody else got going on, okay? This is about your girl Venus. All that other stuff, yeah, okay. Like I was saying, long story short, I was working this corporate job, you know, getting my feet wet in the corporate world, and I lost my job due to COVID. Yeah, I quite literally woke up to an email after being sent home due to like all of the quarantine and everything, and them basically explaining to me like, hey, we can no longer support this position because we quite literally don't know the forecast of tomorrow. And it was just basically like, oh, we, you know, effective today, you no longer have a job. And if I had to assess my feelings around losing my job so rapidly, I can only describe it as a ball at the bottom of my stomach. Like it quite literally felt like my heart dropped. I'm the type of person, I value stability, okay? I'm big on security in all areas of my life. So losing my job, it felt like I was learning how to swim. It felt like somebody was tossing me in the ocean without me not knowing how to swim and was just like, yeah, survive. That is what it felt like. So yeah, I lost my job and I had no other options. Nobody was hiring in COVID. For all of you girls and guys who are just like, oh, you could have just got a regular job like anybody else instead of da-da-da. No, I could not. I quite literally applied to so many different jobs and I could not get a job even with a degree. even McDonald's would not hire me. And if you know, you know. I am not lying. I used to work for McDonald's back when I was in college. So yeah, trust me. Still not having a way to pay my bills. You know, I just had all of this stuff piled up on me. I was also in grad school at the time, might I add, paying out of pocket. I drifted into the spicy industry off survival mode, and it just went from there. I started out as a stripper, dancing for a year, maybe like a little under a year. And then I end up getting exposed to the spicy industry as a spicy creator. A lot of spicy creators often, relate their in the spicy industry to abuse, mainly sexual abuse. That was not the case for me. I went through a very, very tough time financially. Yeah, that's just what it was. My survival mode mindset was to figure it out. I've been grown at a very, very young age, okay? If you are from where I'm from, then you know that young adults, especially young women who are like firstborn, secondborn, you are required to mature at a very young age. So I've just been accustomed to always make things happen and to just pick up the pieces when the pieces are all that's left. And it was embedded in me. It's been embedded in me. So just having that drive, that ambition to just be like, oh, I'm gonna figure it out. That's quite literally what I thought when I had no other options. I was like, oh, I gotta figure this out. Because moving back home wasn't an option for me. I didn't come from a background where once I left home, I was able to go back home. Like I didn't have that option to just be like, oh, life didn't work out for me, so let me just fall back on my parents. No, I had no options like that. Shout out to you all who do, because at the end of the day, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to say that you have somebody to fall back on when you, if you are one of those people who are accustomed to just not having nobody ever to fall back on. That was my life. And I allowed my survival mode to justify what I was doing. Because in my head, I was like, oh, if I'm making money, I'm making ends meet, I'm doing something good. Like in my head, that's really what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I'm making things shake. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. My bills are paid. In my head, I was like, oh, I justified it because I truly felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong. Like I was just like, oh, I'm making money. So that has to be some sort of sign that I am successful at what I was doing. Now, granted, I may not have been successful according to what I thought my success would look like, or I may not have been successful according to some people's standards that they placed on me. But in my head, I was successful at that very thing. And my income reflected that. It really did. I made a lot of money. And the type of money that I made, I had never seen in my life. Nobody in my family had ever seen that type of money in my life. So to be exposed to a certain lifestyle, and that was the means of me getting that lifestyle, it made me continue to do what I did so that I could maintain it. It was all new to me. What was I feeling financially, emotionally, and mentally while working in the spicy industry? Financially, I was up. Financially, I was doing so good. Like I was making a lot of money fast, the fast way. But trust me and believe me when I say the fast as it come, the fast as it go. No matter how much money I made, and I was making well over 6 figures, I never felt like it was enough. And it was the craziest thing to me. Like, to this day, I still don't even know like the science behind it, because I'm just like, I made a lot of money, but I just didn't feel like it was enough. And I was great with my finances. I did a lot of investing, I moved the right way because a large part of me, once I got money, wanted to hold on to it very tightly. So I was big on educating myself on how to invest it the right way. But no matter how much money I made, I never felt like it was enough. So before I get into this next part, I just want to tell y'all, it literally took me over 6 months just to make this video. As you can see, I am in my pajamas, in my living room. I'm in the most chill setting right now. I had no preparation for me making this video right now. The only thing that I had was like this tugging feeling for me to just go ahead and put it out there. And I've stalled it for so long. I've stalled it for so long to where I feel a urgency to go ahead and put this out. So I'm hoping and praying that the purpose of this video is to inspire someone else, or maybe encourage someone else, or maybe just, you know what I'm saying, highlight something that somebody's been struggling with. I don't know, okay? All I know is, listen, it wasn't planned. When I say that God opened my eyes to what I was doing and that I can't sit silent about it anymore, it's because I was participating in idolatry, okay? I was doing it from a lustful lens. And I thought it was cute. I thought it was normal. And I thought it was natural to me, okay? One of the things I'm going to talk about is how money became the main driver, how I slowly turned it into an idol, and how I was able to differentiate the providing versus me worshiping money. It's pretty simple. I kind of already touched on it with the whole main driver became survival mode. I wanted to make enough to live comfortable, okay? I wanted to not have to worry about money anymore. That was the main driver. How it slowly turned into an idol, like anything else that you love so much, okay? It's true when they say the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not that money is evil, but it's the love of it that makes it evil. And that's the part that a lot of people don't pay attention to, because the love just comes so effortlessly, especially when you grew up lacking that very thing that you just desire so much. It can sneak up on you if you're not careful, and that was the case for me. As the money was coming in and I realized just the type of lifestyle that I could afford with it, how it made me feel, and I realized how easy it was to get it, money was like this to me. I wouldn't indulge in relationships and connections without it. You couldn't get me to move unless you gave me some money. That's how serious it was to me. Everything in my life, all the way down to my mindset, was transactional. It had completely consumed me. How did I switch over the whole providing to the worshiping money? So it started out, like I said, of me just wanting to provide for myself, me wanting to pay my bills and all the stuff like that. But like I said, the worshiping part came about once I did that, meaning made enough to where I was comfortable with what, you know what I'm saying, the amount of money I had coming in. Bills were paid. I had finished grad school. I had did the things that I said was the initial driver for me doing it, right? And then it's as the money kept coming in, I became addicted to who I was with it. And I despised the person that I was without it. The lifestyle. So yeah, it ended up turning into me worshiping just the idea of money and me having it. I look back over just my experiences, and I do want to say that when I think about them, it's not that I think from a place of regret, because I don't regret anything in my life. I'm not the type of person that's oh, I wish I shouldn't have did that, this and that. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. As fun as it may have looked, as much as I may have looked like I enjoyed it, because there were moments that I did enjoy. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of fun. On the back end, emotionally, I was empty. I didn't feel normal feelings like most people did, which is why it was easier for me to have transactional relationships and connections versus transformational connections. I didn't really feel like the normal human. I don't know. I can't really explain it, but it's not like I was a robot, but it did feel empty. It felt empty. It felt empty. That's the only way that I can describe it. And it didn't really start bothering me until last year when I fell into this dark place mentally and emotionally. And it came about from me feeling unfulfilled. The feeling of unfulfillment drove me back into the arms of God, like where I knew that in order for me to have that feeling of being fulfilled, that it would be tied to something bigger than myself. Now, I grew up in the church. I've always had a sense of God. I always known God. And I truly believe that God has had his hands on me no matter what season I was in, no matter what I was doing or where I was, right? So yes, I quite literally believe that God had his hands on me even when I was doing things that I had no business doing. Because if you knew the things that I seen, if you knew the things that I experienced, I still look over my life and I'd be like, I don't know how I made it out. I don't know how I made it out untouched. Like, I don't know how I made it out untouched. And I had so many people reaching out to me like, oh, you did the right thing. You so graceful. You know, you hopped in, made your money, and you hopped out. I wish I could take the credit. I wish I could be like, oh yeah, da-da-da. Don't get me wrong. That was always the plan. It was always the plan for me to do what I need to do and then clock out. But it wasn't as easy as y'all think it was. Like, listen, I done been in some situations where I quite literally shouldn't have made it out. But like I said, God has always had a purpose over my life. And I know that my calling was bigger than myself. Like I said, it really started to weigh on me last year when I fell into a dark place after not feeling fulfilled in my career. I started to assess my life, and I'm like, here I am with 2 whole degrees, 2 certifications. I have all these things that I've accomplished. You know, I have these investments, blah, blah, blah. You know, I was successful in my own right, but to me, on the inside, I did not feel complete. I felt like something was missing, and it bothered me so bad because I couldn't put my finger on it, and I'm just like, what is it? I went months and months and months trying to figure out exactly what it was that made me feel empty, and I couldn't pinpoint it. So I did what only I knew to do, which was go back to my foundation. And like I said, I grew up in the church. I grew up from a God-fearing family. You know, it was instilled in me. It was embedded in me. I knew how to do the things that was instilled in my foundation, which was seek God in the time of trouble. And for me, that was a time of trouble. It really was. I started getting closer to God, and that's when the transformation began. But it became worse. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I thought I was able to just like put 1 foot in, 1 foot out, dabble and you know what I'm saying? I still had that mentality like, oh, I'm going to do this for work because the money good, but I'm going to maintain my relationship with God behind closed doors. Like that really was my mentality. And just hearing myself speak that out loud is crazy. I'm just like, girl, what was you doing? That's what I was doing for like a couple of months. And then it got worse. The feeling didn't go away. It did not go away. It cured it for a little bit, but it didn't go away. And I couldn't pinpoint exactly why until God just really woke me up one day and was just like, look, you got to stop doing this. Like, you can't just be lukewarm. You can't just be like 1 foot in, 1 foot out with me. Like, it's true when they say that God is a jealous God, because listen, the way that he snatched me up mentally, emotionally, and physically sometimes, I knew that I had no choice but to stop what I was doing and completely pivot into something else. I had a business that I started a few years ago that I was working on behind closed doors. because like I said, the goal was to always transition out of the industry. I just got caught up because the money was good. And when I made the decision to go through the transformation from the spicy industry over to just walking into purpose, it was by far one of the hardest things I ever did in my life. And listen, hey, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. The uprooting, the doing away, the discipline, losing friends, shedding this idea of self, shedding an identity that I had consumed for so long, letting go all of the things that I thought I knew and taking on something completely fresh. It was the scariest thing I had endured, y'all, and I can't even lie. So I'm not even going to sit here and just paint it like it was just such an easy transition. It wasn't. It wasn't. It was really lonely because everything that I knew that I had built for years completely vanished right before my eyes, or it was dismantled right before my eyes within like a month. I thought the easy part was me announcing that I was stepping away. Ciao. And I want to say that the unfulfillment didn't just stop at me feeling like the amount of money I made was never enough, but it also stemmed from me feeling the weight of social media. Like, I got this personality where, like, I don't like feeling obligated to do stuff. Like, I like to have the choice to do it. Like, I don't know. And just having to show up every single day for social media for people who I didn't even know or probably liked, it bothered me. It bothered me. And then everybody used to be just like, oh, she doing this for attention. I did it for money. It was never about y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I wish I could sit here and be like I wanted the clout. I could have been a unknown nobody. And if I could have made content or made the money, the amount of money I was seeing without having to just, it would have been done. It was the unfulfillment with the relationships in my life, being that I had built every relationship from a transactional standpoint. There was never a time where anybody I connected with didn't want something from me. And it wasn't always a physical transaction, right? It was energetic. It was a mental transaction, and that stuff was heavy. It was heavy. And the unfulfillment of not knowing my purpose. I had accomplished so much at such a young age. I had the money, and I still didn't know what my purpose was. Like, I didn't know, like, oh, you know how some people can be like, oh, my purpose is I'm a singer. I can sing and do this and make people feel this. Like, I didn't have one specific thing that I could just write out and be like, oh, my purpose is this. So that really bothered me, not knowing my purpose. One of the questions I got on here is just like, what did I feel spiritually while doing that work? And the only thing that I can think of is fatigue. I did. I felt fatigued. Oh my gosh. Every video I made, every picture I took, even the environments after I would enter them and then just go home at the end of the day, I used to be like, why am I so tired? I used to be so drained. I used to be tired. But there were a lot of moments where I would pause and reflect, and I would ignore them. I would ignore them because I valued money more than I valued my relationship with God. That's the truth. That's the truth. And a lot of us do it even when we don't think we're doing it, because like I said, it's easy. It is so easy to slip into idolatry. It starts out as us enjoying a thing, enjoying the effects of a thing, enjoying how a thing makes us feel. And if you are one of those people who have an extreme personality, it consumes you, So yeah. And one of the reasons why I think that me making this video is credible, because one, I have a large fan base. Two, a lot of y'all know me and met me through doing that type of work. I feel a sense of responsibility, not only to inform you guys, about the shift and why I made the shift, but I feel like I should be also held accountable for the people that I inspired to get into that line of work, and those of you that I inspired through lust, whether to participate in it or to, indulge. I take full responsibility. Y'all don't understand. I look okay now, but I'm telling you, months ago, when I first was like, oh, I need to go ahead and make this video and tell everybody, like, hey, this and that, it was so hard, y'all, because I went through the motion. Like, I went through the motion of so many different emotions. The feelings that I felt were guilt, because I knew better. I did, because like I said, I knew what my foundation was, and I knew this and that, right? It's just that I was driven by some things that I had let go out of control. And then two, not only did I know better, but I didn't have the awareness that I have today about my influence. And I think that's another thing that a lot of us need to come to terms with. We might not think like, hey, we are influencing other people, but the truth is, well, I know the truth is for me, is that I influence a lot of people. I really do. I influence quite literally everybody that I encounter with. Whether directly or indirectly. So when it came to this social media stuff, and I end up developing this large fan base that I ain't even expect to have from the get-go. Because like I said, I was just doing it because I'm trying to survive. And then here it is, I got hundreds of thousands of people watching me. You know what I'm saying? So the responsibility comes about from me just being careless with the influence. I take full responsibility for that. I take full responsibility for the ignorance of me not knowing the effects of me not being aware of that. That's just really what it is. It's nothing else. I'm not even going to dress it up and try to make it look pretty. I'm not even finna sit up here and try to beat around the bush and be like, oh, da-da-da. No. I take full responsibility, and I hold myself accountable for the part that I played. I was operating out of lust, and it wasn't right. And when the realization about what I was doing and how it contributed to lust, when that came about, it was so heavy on me. It was so heavy on me because I knew that what I was doing was in direct conflict with what God was not only doing in my life and trying to do in my life, but it was undoing what he had intended for his people. And I was a ringleader in that. I don't even know. I don't even have words to say, but when the realization was heavy, okay? The realization was heavy. I feel like the only way to make it right is to publicly denounce my old lifestyle, and to also reaffirm and confirm for those of you who doubt me that I won't ever, no matter how much some of you out there may wish that I go back to that type of lifestyle, I won't ever be going back. I won't. So, like I said then, and I'm saying now, that this is the me that you should get used to. And I appreciate those of you who are here to truly support me. Whether you guys were introduced to me through that lifestyle or not, I appreciate the people who see me for me, want to know more about me, like the real me, and support me in whatever stage that I'm in. Like, I appreciate that. And what I don't need is anybody condemning me. I don't need anybody telling me, oh, isn't that? Because hey, I'm still human, okay? Girl, it's called a healing journey for a reason, okay? Let's not get it twisted. I'm on my way somewhere. I ain't there yet. So let's keep it cute. I'm here to do my part and play my part in moving forward, you know, in a better light, and also inspiring people to just go down a different path. Like, that's my ultimate purpose for making this video, and just elaborating on why I decided to walk away from that lifestyle. I do want to talk about what fears came up when I decided to leave. One of the fears obviously was I was gonna miss the income. You know, it was fast money. It was instant gratification. I was like, dang, man, this free money I'm leaving behind. It was so easy to make, my goodness. And see, that's how the enemy gets you right there. He make it so easy. And that really should have been my red flag right there. When it became too easy, my antenna should have went off like, hold up now, wait. As a person who never had an easy thing in their life, had nothing come to me easy. So the fact that that was coming to me easy, I should have been looking over my shoulder like, hold up. For real. I thought I was going to miss the income because I was just like, man, I'm making so much money. No. Then two, I anticipated a hard season, you know, of losing friends, because all of my friends at the time reflected that lifestyle. They worked in the lifestyle alongside me. So I knew that people that I had built relationships with over the past couple of years would, one, either reject me in this new transformation, or two, I would come to the realization that I didn't have anything in common with any of them. And that was the hardest part, you know. Another fear was the scrutiny that I would encounter with my fan base, like the anxiety I thought about with making this video, eventually having to make this video. And I was just like, oh, I just really don't want to open myself up to judgment. Like, I don't want to deal with people's opinion on me. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, she thinks she's too good now. When the truth is, I am too good for that old lifestyle. That's just what it is. So let's start there. But two, I had a friend, a good friend of mine, that confronted me. And he was just like, I talked to him about it, and I was like, I gotta make this video, you know, because God has like really convicted me to go ahead and, you know, put this out there. And I was like, it's weighing on me heavy, but I was like, I'm scared because He straight up told me, he said, you wasn't scared when you was making them videos with your all out. You wasn't scared when you was doing this. I had to clutch my pearls. I was like, not you calling me out. Not you calling me out. Not you getting me together. Like, oh, I couldn't do nothing but laugh, but he ain't lied. And that was the turning point for me. I was like, you right. I was like, if I was bold enough to really put that type of work out there and bold enough to promote lust, I could be bold for God. Like, I could be bold for Jesus. I could be like, you know what I'm saying? I could do his work just as loud as I was about that lifestyle that I was living. I have nothing bad to say about anybody, okay? This is my truth. To the girls who are currently in that space, I understand whether you had a very similar experience like me coming into the industry or whether yours look different. At the end of the day, being in that industry is being in that industry, you know, no matter how you might try to sugarcoat it or whatever, right? I just want to tell you that there is a way out. There is a way out. And if you are experiencing the same feelings that I experienced of feeling unfulfilled, being in a dark place and operating from a place of lack, just know that God is enough, okay? He's enough for the both of us. He really is. And just like he can bring me out of that lifestyle, you can come out of that lifestyle too. Because let me tell you something else. For those of you that are thinking to yourself like, oh, what her life look like now? The transformation part was hard, okay? Oh, but the reward, baby, the reward is like no other, because I promise you, the amount of money that I thought I was making was a lot of money. But where I am now, operating in purpose, listen, and I thought that came easy. Oh my goodness. Listen, I'm not saying that everything that I do today is perfect, but I will say that the joy and the reward that I get from operating in my purpose, I feel so full. I feel so complete. And I want that for everybody. I want that for every girl that's out there struggling the same way that I struggled. You know, those of you that are looking for a way out, I want that for you too. Like I do. I want that. And you can have that. All it starts is with you making up your mind, understanding that there is another way, even when it feels like there isn't another way. Just know that Jesus is the way, quite literally. And I don't even want to sound like, no, this is me giving it to you straight like that, like uncut, raw. Jesus is the way, flat out. He was my way out. He could be your way out too. And the same way that I was able to trust that he would sustain me when I came out of that lifestyle, you can do the exact same thing too. I am no different from anybody. I just want to wrap this up by saying that I am still growing. I'm still learning. And I know I can't go back. I'm excited to just see what unfolds in my life. Not only for me being obedient and putting this video out there, because I know it's not pretty. Like, I know that it's not pretty. Not from a sense that I ain't pretty, because please don't get it twisted, okay? Don't get it twisted, girl. Don't get it twisted. So if you wishing on my downfall, baby, you're going to be wishing for life, okay? You're going to be wishing for life.
Forever.
Because it's onward and upward for me. It's up with me. I sincerely appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the support, you know, no matter what stage of my life that you came and joined my community. I appreciate you. And I'm really excited to see what God can do through me and for me for my community. Like, it's a scary sight to really have your life on display, you know what I'm saying? Especially when there's hundreds of thousands of people that offer their opinions and judgments. But listen, this is for a great cause. So I'm looking forward to just seeing where this goes. Stay tuned for the part 2 of how I transitioned out of my OnlyFans career. And I will see you next time on Vibing with Venus.